Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Punishing Dumb Ass Openings. This is the special Ultimate Knockdown Special Death Wish edition with your favourite porn addict. This is Matty Z127 from Argentina, and it's a beauty. It's a beauty. Let's go. So we get E4, E5. So far, so good. But wait. Now, this is D3, and this is the Leonardis variation, okay? And it looks a bit kooky because he's already blocked in his bishop, but maybe there are some trappy lines. Now, what am I going to do against this, right? It's an E4, E5 opening. I'm going to throw Freddie into the fray. Off goes Freddie. Freddie F5. Here we go. He takes. Now, at this point, I do not play perfectly because I throw in D5. I figure let's grab the centre. Now this would let him play Queen H5 check. Okay, so really what I should have done is Knight F6 first and then move my D pawn and then recapture the pawn. Okay, but anyway, he doesn't do that because he's in full on dumbass mode. I mean, we're talking Death Wish dumbass level, right? Okay, so he pushes the C pawn because he needs to get his queen out into the board, and this diagonal wasn't good enough with, guaranteed material. But hey ho. So out goes the C pawn because he wants to prevent his own knight from coming out to this square where it would be useful and control the centre. So now I twig and now I play Knight F6. And he comes out and pins my knight. Okay. But Hunter, you're saying this looks absolutely fine. Well, he hasn't finished yet. There are still a lot more pawns to move. Right, I come out and recapture the pawn. So now material is equal. However, I am closer to castling, particularly on the king side. I've got two pieces out on the board, and I've got nice control of the centre. Thank you very much. Come on, Matty, what have you got? Okay, why not throw out the g-pawn? That's a good idea. Let's throw out the g-pawn, because this bishop really has got nowhere to go. I think we've trapped it. Oh no, wait a minute. It could go there or there or there or there. Okay, but Henny, throwing out the g-pawn is great, because look, we might put our bishop here on h3. That would be a great place to put our bishop, behind our own pawn. And anyway, castling's overrated. Castling's for wimps. It's for beginners, for noobs. Okay, so the bishop drops back to g6. Fair enough. Okay, now let's switch that off because we want to enjoy ourselves. Right. So, it's time to throw Harry out. Of course it is. Of course it is. Because look, let's trap the bishop. And it's got nowhere to go apart from here and here and here and the rest of the entire board. Okay, so Harry comes out. Now, I bring out my queen to put two attackers on this pawn. And if you were white, what would you do here? Why not eliminate your only developed piece? Okay, bishop takes f6, forcing black to capture towards the centre with his pawn. Okay, black is in serious trouble now. Not. Right, and I mean, look, the dude's high. He's high, or he's drunk, or the cat is jumping all over his keyboard. I don't know. Anyway, so h5, obviously. And so the bishop drops back, now adding a second defender to this central pawn. And of course we have to push f3, because look, we've still got three pawns undeveloped, right? And this is a really interesting approach to chess. I think we can all learn from this approach, which is to develop all your pawns instead of pieces. Fascinating. Space, the final frontier. Okay? Now, I'm very old-fashioned. I like to develop my pieces and castle my king and all this kinds of stuff. So I play knight c6. And of course b4. I mean, there's only one pawn left to develop, isn't it? So what's going to happen? Anyway, so I castle, because it's all boring and, whatever. He brings out his bishop now. He sees an idea. He sees a tactic, right? Haha. If I move this pawn, then look, the queen and the king are in line, and there's nothing that black can do other than to push this pawn and to put this bishop there, for example. Okay, so I develop my bishop to d6, You know, in the old traditional way of connecting your rooks and completing development and all this kinds of stuff. So now he develops his knight to e2, right? I put my bishop here to block any ideas of this. So now if he moves his pawn, I take his bishop for free, because if rook recaptures, I've got my queen behind it. Okay, so we can't do that. So what do you do? What would you do in this situation if you were white? You'll never guess what he does. He pushes a4. Okay, alrighty, sure. What do you do as black here? Well, I think centralizing this rook wouldn't be a bad idea, but the general principle is my king is relatively safe. White's king is, let's put it kindly, not safe, right? Man, I don't even know what to say. So anyway, so what you want to do here is you want to break open the center. Now, pushing e4, I'm attacking 2 pawns. This is technically a pawn fork, right? So something's got to happen. Even if he decides to push one, I can take the other, right? So he takes, I take. And now I've got queen and rook and everything lined up against the queen. And what's he going to do? So he pushes the pawn. And now I grab the free pawn here. And he decides to trade bishops, okay? Because, you know, getting your pieces out on the board is dangerous. They could get captured, right? Much better to leave them on the back rank and let your pawns do all the work. Absolute dumbass approach to chess. Some people get upset when I call my opponents dumbass. Thing is, look, we can all be a dumbass, right? But I don't know if I've ever I don't know. Anyway, so I give check, he takes, I take, and now the king is looking, for some reason, somewhat exposed. And I can't really put my finger on what white has done wrong so far in the game. But the king moves. I play rook h to g8 with ideas of, you know, coming in and checkmating my opponent. His king moves here. I slide my queen across the d3 with check. King comes back here. I push my pawn with check. King comes back here. I take the knight with check. Queen takes. Now, best move for black, I'm not sure, but I play rook d to e8 with check. Okay, so clearly the king has to go here, or else he just loses the queen outright. So the king goes there, and now queen to here. Now, black is in the ascendancy. White, on the other hand, is in trouble. If the king goes here, so he can't go to any of these squares because of queen and rook, right? Now, if he goes here, I've got queen takes h1, winning the rook. Then he has to come here or here, right? However, if he comes here immediately, as he does, then rook e2 simply wins the big fat exchange. So king comes here now. I lift my other rook, because why not? Okay, he attacks my queen. I ignore the attack because I have a check. Knight takes d4, comes with check. King can't go here, can't stay where he is, can't go here, here, or here. So he has to go here. And now rook takes c3 is checkity mate. And it's all over. And I mean, we've seen some dumbass openings. We've seen some dumbass approaches to the game, right? And I didn't play that perfectly well. I think in the review it gave my opponent something like 50 accuracy, which I simply do not understand, because this is an absolute peach. So for all you enthusiasts and you fans of punishing dumbass openings out there, it's just a beauty. It's a beauty, isn't it? You know, what can you say? An absolute peach. So, I mean, there's a lesson here for everyone. Just don't push all your bloody pawns, because that's what happens. That's it. That's all you have to know from this game, and that's all I have to say. Okay, thanks for watching, everyone. See you later.